Can't really imagine what it would feel like. It's like being lost in a crowd. You lose all ties with loved ones, friends, family.
You see where I come from, I was so sick. I was out there eating off the ground. I was just doing some bizarre stuff.
I don't have to stay here, homeless forever. Places like this just give me a jump start to try again.
Being homeless for me, I guess, is another wake-up call, because I've never been homeless.
People don't realize how easy their life could be my life.
I don't just look at this center here, this shelter as being a shelter. When I come up the street, I see a church.
And then a friend of mine was telling me about Peter and Paul's. It's one of the best shelters. You can go in and go right to sleep and eat good and all that.
I thank God that they do got shelters, you know what I'm saying?
It's always been basically a savings program. We have focused on folks in recovery with substance abuse issues. That's not everyone, but it's the majority of guys that we see who are genuinely committed to changing the circumstances of their lives, staying sober, achieving independence, establishing an income, and saving money to move in that direction.
I came here, I'm working a temporary job right now. When I was working 2 jobs on the streets, I couldn't keep a penny. I got a savings account now with a temporary job.
So if you can live by rules and regulations they have in the shelter, you can live by rules and regulations that you have out in the street, out in the real world. I got 3 keys here. One's to the front door of the apartment building, one is to this door. These keys to me, is to my new life. I love these keys. It's the first place I can call home in 20 years. I've never had something that I can call home in 20 years. And I love these keys. I cherish these keys. These keys gonna be the part of my life for the rest of my life. And I hope I have many more, like to a big house.
I've always encouraged the volunteers to go socialize with the residents, play cards with them, watch TV, just listen to them and talk. The chores need to be done, but it really is their presence that is the greatest gift that they bring.
There was one fellow who has been coming here for years, and I've kind of gotten to know him, and he's usually very outgoing and kind of boisterous and loud. And this one particular month we were here, and he was so quiet and sitting by himself, and I went over to him and I sat down and I said, "You're not yourself. What's going on? Are you not feeling well? Is it your health?" And he began to tell me about a series of events that had happened in his life, and he told me that he was considering taking his life, that he just felt like there was no reason to go on. And I looked at him and I grabbed his hand and I said, "What would your mother say? Do you want to just take her heart out and cut it out?" I didn't even know if his mother was still alive, but thank goodness she was. I said, "Don't you know what a horrible thing?" I said, "Nothing can be that bad." And I said, "Please, please, don't do anything without talking to somebody." The following month I came back and he wasn't here, and I didn't really know, and I asked around, and I hadn't heard any bad things happening. Well, the month after that, there he was, his old self, and he said, "You know, what you said to me about my mother really took me back." And I just felt like maybe that's the reason I was here.
Before I came, I had taken a class in school and learned about mental illness, but I didn't have a lot of contact with people that were homeless or that had mental illnesses. So it's hard to really understand someone by reading a book or reading words. So I wanted to have the life experience of really having contact with people. And so I learned that the guys here at LaBrea they have the same wants and needs that I do. What we've tried to do here at LaBrea is give positive reinforcement, give them opportunities to interact with one another, socialize with one another. Like for instance, we have a bowling group. The best group I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it's not just bowling. Those guys interact with each other, support each other, give each other five.
I have two disorders. I have bipolar and I have HIV. So it's kind of a struggle every day. I got evicted from my apartment, and I found a place to live after that, but it didn't work out. So I was, fairly lost at the time. So I found positive directions.
I think part of the mission of the agency is to our donors. I think giving people the opportunity to come and volunteer with people who have needs, who are less fortunate than they are, gives them the chance to give something to someone else.
Just in the same way that we always felt good about Peter and Paul as stewards of our clients, I think donors can feel good about Peter and Paul as good stewards of their donation. So
we're relying more and more heavily on our donors to be partners with us in what we're doing. I think we, as a staff and as volunteers, we set the stage in our clients' lives for some change. And I think our donors are hand-in-hand partners with us in doing that. They make it all happen.